The Daily Wire has established itself as the premier representation of American conservatism in the past decade. Alongside the process of this facade it has put up to the public, primarily to conservative Christians and right wingers of other political denominations, they have acted as a Trojan horse, endowed with a false motto of seeking truth and discussion in the free marketplace of ideas, whilst conveniently shutting down any conversation that is to the right of their established political ideology, which almost all of their pundits agree on in unison, or at least none of them deviate from publicly in any shape, way, or form. And instead, they brought into political discourse an attempted establishment of a new political norm, which alienates any discourse that doesn't fall in line with complete submission to their ideology. Ironically enough, in a way which resembles very fascistic parameters set on what opinions are accepted. I was inspired to make this video because I see this community as a breath of fresh air from mundane political conversation, and I see potential in it to grow to replace dogmatic media organizations like the Daily Wire. Join Compatriots Academy. But also, a primary motivator was the sheer amount of hypocrisy, misbehavior, and unjust treatment organizations like the Daily Wire emit towards true conservatism. It has become too apparent a pattern to handwave as sheer happenstance. We see this, for example, with what they did with Chris Langen's interview. They wasted his time and didn't even publish his interview because apparently they've seen his prior engagement on social media in the early 2010s, wherein he's made certain comments about Israel. And this is not even the worst of it. In 2016, the Daily Wire employee Cassie Akiva, Cassie Dillon formerly, before her apostatizing from Christianity to Judaism, was scouting for future pundits and writers for the Daily Wire on college campuses. At a college debate she attended that happened to go viral at the time, there was now famous political commentator Nick Fuentes debating, an 18-year-old novice in politics who happened to be very charismatic and adept in debate. She was very impressed by his performance and reached out to her boss, Ben Shapiro, co-founder of the Daily Wire and one of the most influential right-wing political commentators, and they planned to hire him into the Daily Wire. That was until the 18-year-old made a tweet asking why nobody at the Daily Wire has ever had any criticism of all the foreign aid the United States gives to Israel, considering the fact that the right wing is supposed to be America first. To which Ben Shapiro responded, accusing any American Jew who is pro-Israel of being an Israel firster is a pure form of anti-Semitism. Subsequently, Nick's opportunity of working at the Daily Wire, the supposed haven of free speech and the free marketplace of ideas for the right, was immediately retracted. 2024, Candace Owens, one of their most popular pundits, dared sympathize with Palestinians in Gaza and publicly called for a stop to the conflict. This was followed by a very scornful interview with a rabbi that had quite a big issue with this stance, and her being very expressive of her faith, accusing her of anti-Semitic undertones in her speech. Then supposed Christian pundit Andrew Klavan, colleague of hers, echoed this problem by saying that her frequent expression of the phrase Christ is King was anti-Semitic. Shortly after this, she was fired. I say all of this to point out that these so-called conservatives and their inner shell and true identity are expressively no different to liberals who preach deplatforming. They defame you. When they don't have an argument, they label you an anti-Semite. They don't engage in debate, try to delegitimize your qualms, and if that doesn't do the job, they will get you deplatformed and equate you to Hitler. This avid self-victimization and defaming of opposition on the right indicates nothing other than that they aren't truly conservative and do not have in their heart an interest in truth and discussion, but rather an interest in turning every right-winger into robots that never talk about the true source of problems in the world, and instead debate leftists on identity politics for eternity. Ultimately, it's not even instantiated from a true concern for anti-Semitism, but the weaponization of it for the furthering of their own political goals. In conclusion, this is a vibrant problem, but that also implies the capacity for solution, a rapid change. Through media, debate, and rhetoric, I have no doubt in my mind the seeds for change and the unraveling of a true new right wing will be planted with a teleological basis in reality, devoid of the interest of a particular political monopoly. We can turn this around. We can do that by being relentless in pointing out the amount of lies that are being told. And believe me, there is no shortage of them.